Greetings, Guardians. It's Lieutenant Aya, and we're here to talk about setup and tear down at fair. If you're a newer member and haven't been with us to a fair yet, you might be wondering what is setup and tear down? When do I need to be there? And what does it all entail? So each fair that we go to, we have to set up all of our fantastic tents, and it can be a pretty big job. So we need as many hands on board as we can get. So we do request that if you're coming to a fair with us, that you either sign up for at least a setup or a tear down. Now, if you can be at both of those, that is going to be super helpful within the community to make sure that we get everything set up and torn down on time. Now, it always fluctuates on when we will actually get there for setup. So our goal is at least by 5 o'clock because that's when most people get off of work and are able to come and help out. Now, we do try to be there a little bit earlier. Things may go wrong. We might be there a little bit later. So if you just aim for at least 5 o'clock, that'll be about accurate. And then just watch the announcement channel on the day up. We always tell people what our goal time is and then when the trailers actually leave and will be arriving. You are not required to be there at any certain time, but the sooner everybody gets there, the sooner that we can get all set up. If you are going to be there extremely late in the evening, please let somebody know so we're not worried about you and wondering where you are. As for what to do during setup, our quartermaster will have laid out the encampment so that we know where all of our tents go. And the first thing that we do is unload the trailers. We have 2 trailers, blood and steel, and both of those will need to be emptied into the accurate locations. After that, if you are an initiate, your direct leadership is the herald. Otherwise, if you're a member, you're going to be talking to one of the guild masters or the guild grandmaster if the guild master is not there yet. And each guild has an area specifically that they set up first and that they focus on. So go to your guild grandmaster and help with that area. As for what to do, after the trailers are emptied, we set up those tents. So if you are in Martial Guild, you're going to start working on Martial Guild tent at first. And if you don't know how to set up a tent, the first thing I would do is go watch our video on how to put in the stakes and the ropes for the tents. That's really critical just to make sure that those are put in accurately so our tents don't blow over. But what you'll be doing probably the most is just standing there holding a pole. A lot of those poles need to be held while we get them staked up. So if you're not exactly sure on how to set up a tent, that's okay. You can hold a pole. We do encourage everybody to really get to know one tent at a time and how to set that up. We will be working on putting up videos on how to set up and tear down each tent, but if we don't have those up yet for the tent that you're working on, just go ahead and find somebody who knows how to do that tent really well and start learning from them so that there's at least one that you could put up by yourself or with a group if needed. Once your guild's tents are all up, go check in with the other guilds and see what else needs to be set up. There's always a couple tents that still need to be put up, either personal or the shape flies. The shape flies are usually the last thing we do, and sometimes those can get pushed to the next morning before they get up. But the more we can get up the night before, the less we are stressed in the morning. After all the tents are set up, we start to move things into those tents. So all of the totes, all of the rugs, everything extra that goes in, we move those in and set them up. Then we go ahead and start setting things up around the encampment, such as the signs and the chairs and the fire pit. Those are some of the last things that get set up. If you're really looking for something to do and you're not sure what to do and you can't find a leader to check in with and the tents are pretty much up and nobody needs hands, look around and see what you can pick up. There's always lids on the ground that need to be put on the totes, and the totes need to be put back in the trailers or put into a tent. You see stakes on the ground, pick those up, put them in the tubs. Hammers, put them in the hammer tub. Just start to tidy up and pick up so there's less to do the morning of. For teardown, that is usually on Sunday or possibly Monday night, depending on how long our fair is. The first thing that we do is we take 20 minutes after fair closes and we all get changed into our regular clothes and do a little pickup of our stuff. Throughout the day, hopefully everyone will have started to gather their things and organize it a little bit so that it's easier to close down the tents in the fair at the end of the day. Once all your individual things are put away, you're going to want to check in with the herald if you're an initiate, or your guild leader if you are a full member. These individuals will know where they want you to start getting things torn down. Usually, first, we have to move everything out of the tent so that they're cleared, and then we start tearing down the tents. And this is pretty much a reversal of how we put up the tents. There's a lot of pole holding. So you'll be standing there holding a lot of poles while people pull up the stakes and then wrap the ropes around the stakes. Each tent will have a bucket that or two that the tent goes into, and we go ahead and put the shade flies on the walls and the ropes for that tent all in the buckets together. If you're not working on your guild tent, you can check around and see if anybody needs help taking down their personal tent. Another thing that often needs to be done is gathering of things. So, like all the signs need to be gathered back up and put together. The chairs will need to be taken apart. Different things like that will just need to be gathered up all together. And then we start moving things over to the trailer. Now, the quartermaster and any of their deputies will be directing what needs to go into each trailer in what order. So don't just start putting things in there, because otherwise we'll probably have to take them out and put them back in again later. If all the tents are down and everything's picked up and nobody needs help with their personal tents and you're really bored, the last thing that we need to do to really make sure that we leave our fair area really respectfully is to make sure all the trash is picked up. So we police that area several times over. We have a good reputation for leaving our areas very immaculate, and we're going to keep that up. Once the trailers are all loaded up, if it's not too incredibly late, and hopefully it's not if everybody's really helping out, then we usually have a really short meeting where we just go over some things that went really well, some things that need improvement. It's a pretty informal meeting, but it is a really nice end cap to the fair weekend if you can be there for that. If at any time during the teardown that you need to dip out, either for physical issues or because you need to get to work in the morning or anything like that, just communicate with both your guild leader or anybody else who is directly in charge, just so we aren't wondering if you just wandered off or what happened, so that we just stay informed. Now, we do have something called half setup and half teardown as well. We have a whole video on that if you want to go watch that. It's a little bit different than our full setups and teardowns. Teardown usually can take anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours, hopefully not more than that, depending on how many tents we have up and how many hands we have. The more hands we have, the faster it goes. So that's a little bit about our setups and our teardowns. If you do have any questions about these, go ahead and pop those questions into our question and answer channel in the Discord, and I will see you at fair.